Hello students, today we are going to study about nursery and gardening. Myself, Dr. Shilpa Bhosle, Assistant Professor, Dempe College of Arts and Science, Milan. Program, Bachelor of Science, 3rd year, Subject, Botany, Semester 6, Core Course, BOD105, Course Title, Nursery and Gardening. Unit title, Nursery, Model name, Planting, Direct Seedling and Transplants, Potting Seedlings. Outline, Techniques of Planting, Direct Seedling and Transplants, Techniques of Potting Seedling. Learning outcomes, explain the concept of planting and transplanting to handle planting and transplanting and potting seedlings. Coming to introduction, planting and transplanting are two important operations. The time of planting depends on climate of the area. Example, deciduous plants are transplanted during the dormant season when they are in leafless condition. Other seasons of planting is spring, when new growth takes place, providing the plant can be given sufficient care and irrigation during the subsequent summer. Under Indian conditions, the best period is to transplant during the rainy season, provided there is no waterlogging. Planting. Planting is placing of seeds or propagules firmly in the soil for germination and growth. Planting is putting the plant propagules in the soil for growing plants. Propagules are seedling, roots, tubers, leaves or cuttings. In the picture, here you can see planting of the seedling. Techniques. Coming to planting techniques. Planting is the process of putting plant seeds into the ground or into a container of soil so that they will grow. In the picture, you can see the planting process. Methods of planting. Direct seeding or planting, that is method of planting seeds directly in the garden, pot or field. Coming to sowing of seeds directly in the soil. In the picture, you can see the person is directly sowing the seeds. To produce food and to do this economically by conserving water, nutrient, etc. Seeds and plants used are big seeds that are grown faster and do not need extra care during the seedling stage. Example, seeds of cucumber, watermelon, carrot, etc. The advantages of direct seeding or planting. They require less labor. Secondly, they are not subjected to stress like being pulled from the soil during the transplanting. Next advantage is plants mature 7 to 10 days earlier than transplanted plants. Example, rice. Fourth is, they do not need to prepare a nursery. What is the disadvantages? Here, the seeds are exposed to birds, rats and snails. Also, the plants tend to lodge. Also, the greater crop yield competition will be there and more seeds are required. Indirect method or indirect seeding planting is planting seeds in the starter such as small pot or the nursery bed. Once ready, then they are transplanted the plants in the permanent location. This is practiced among the plants with small seeds such as cabbage, tomatoes, eggplants, etc. They are sown in the seed boxes or seed beds in rows to produce seedlings, which are then transplanted into the field. As soon as seedlings have grown, to 3 or more leaves, they are now ready for transplanting. What are the advantages of indirect method or indirect seeding planting? Success rate for indirect seeding is higher than direct seeding. Here, you will have a yield of greater crop. Also, it allows the seeds to germinate in the protected environment like a greenhouse. And lastly, it controls overgrowing condition and such as protecting the soil from pests. What are the disadvantages of this method? First, additional preparation like seedling are ready for transplanting during the correct growing season. Secondly, plants are at risk of transplant shock when you transplant them into a new area. Thirdly, greater expenses due to the cost of materials such as seedling trays and maintaining a greenhouse. Coming to next, that is example of planting of shrub and trees. In this picture, you can see the person is planting the shrub and tree. You can simply dig a pit for planting. The ground surface soil is kept separately and not mixed with the rest of soil. After digging the pit, the soil is returned to the pit mixture with the small quantity of manure and the surface soil going onto the top. While planting, a small hole is made at the center of the pit and the plant is placed with the ball of earth. Now here, plants of Eastern Indian have balls of earth which are clay in nature. So simple shrub planting and tree planting using the soil. This should be broken carefully before planting and then the roots spread out eventually and placed in the central hole. The plant should not be placed deeper than when it was in the nursery. After transplanting, the earth around the root should be firmly placed properly. A basin should be made on the ground around the plant for watering. Next technique is transplanting. Transplanting is a method of planting seeds in a seed box or nursery bed. When the seedlings are big enough with 2 or 4 true leaves, they are transplanted or seedlings have attained 12 to 15 in height. Transplanting of seedlings. In the picture, you can see seedlings uprooted for transplanting. The seedling will be ready for transplanting in about 4 to 6 weeks. At this stage, the seedling will have 3 to 4 leaves. They should never be allowed to grow too long in the nursery beds. The process of transplanting of seedlings. Water the bed few hours, that is 12 to 24 hours before uprooting the seedling for transplanting. First, uproot the seedling with care. Take a small transplanting or narrow flat stick, insert it into the soil and take out few seedlings. Next is separate them carefully. Take care to prevent root injuries and then transplant the seedling immediately after uprooting. For transplanting of seedlings, always transplant the seedlings in the evening. In the main plot, make a hole of desired depth so that the root system fits into the hole. Place the seedling in the hole and gently press the soil around it. Water it immediately. Frequent watering is needed immediately after transplanting till seedlings are established in field. For transplanting, follow the recommended space between plant to plant and row to row. In this picture, you can see transplanting of seedling in the paddy field where water is already present. This is the field of transplanting of seedling again of rice. Sowing seeds in seed pens or seed boxes. In the picture, you can see sowing seeds in seed pens or seed box, where you can see very small, tiny and dust-like seeds are best sown in seed pens or seed boxes or seed trays as they can be managed very easily. Seed pens or plastic pots of about 10 to 15 centimeter height and 35 centimeter diameter at the top and base. They can have a few drainage holes. Seed trays or seedling trays. In this picture, you can see seed trays or seedling tray. It can be plastic trays available in different sizes. Usual size is 53 cm length and 27 cm breadth. And it will have around 98 drainage provided cell with 98 net pots each of 3 cm diameter, which easily fit into the cells. Seed tray is permanent arrangement while net pots are removable, along with the seedlings to be transplanted with it. Each seed is allowed to grow with or without net pot. Next step is for potting seedlings. Potting up seedlings into larger container is to enable their roots to continue to grow without getting root bound. A root bound plant is not a happy plant. When the plant roots are being restricted to the point that they start to grow in circular shape around themselves or in circles, they become tangled and bounded up. Can reduce the root ability to spread out and then the plant can be restricted in the growth, and that time they have to be potted again or planted out into the garden. In this picture, you can see various size pots and can be potted seedlings in the pots. Plant's health is directly tied to the root health. So this means the plants are also less likely to flourish. Another reason to pot up seedling is that as their root grow larger, they drink more water and thus dry out more quickly. Now, when to pot up seedlings? The best time to pot up seedlings greatly depends on the size of the container you start it in. Smaller containers like trays with dozens of cells are going to require potting up sooner. Plants will feel cramped or overgrown in trays. About 6 to 8 weeks after germination, after that we will move them into 6-inch or 8-inch pots. These are the references used for the model. Thank you.